This movie feels like a time trip back to the 80s, and not in a good way. I'm talking about Creature 3D. Now this is actually a Bollywood or Indian movie, and it's kind of a creature feature. And let me just prefix this review by saying I don't watch a lot of kind of Bollywood movies, so there may be things here that I'm going to pick up on that may be sort of perfectly acceptable in the kind of the Bollywood sort of B-movie horror film genre, if there is one. But I'm going to tell you, from my opinion, as a white guy from the UK. So basically the story here is about a kind of woman who had this, she's kind of recently got this old building and she sort of turned it into a kind of posh hotel, kind of boutique hotel, if you will. And there it kind of focuses on the kind of the opening kind of few days and all these kind of guests attending. She's kind of making googly eyes at this kind of musician who sort of turns up sort of instantly, and you know, there's kind of a bit of a love story. But unbeknownst to them, there's a kind of creature sort of roaming the nearby woods who kind of looks like Killer Croc from the Batman universe. Basically, he's kind of this sort of big lizard type guy. And obviously, he's sort of going around sort of killing the guests. And ultimately, it's about this kind of the struggle to defeat this sort of strange sort of creature. That's kind of the movie. So why do I say it's kind of a throwback to the 80s? Well, there's so many things here that just seem very old school and very kind of like how films were, and the fact that the kind of the film isn't kind of any type of sort of scary or kind of realistic like you kind of maybe have on horror films these days. Let's talk about the special effects next. The special effects, maybe this is more of a 90s thing than the 80s, but the creature itself is CGI, and it's kind of quite poor CGI. It looks like a kind of sci-fi movie type film, something you'd see on the sort of TV. And we do see this sort of creature a fair amount, and because this is a 3D film, there's lots of instances where the kind of the creature's kind of like sort of grabbing out at you, obviously, and kind of meant to be sort of 3D. So it kind of looks a little bit distracting sometimes, sort of in regards to that. But the CGI, generally speaking, is on the poorer side. The creature design is pretty standard. It's not terrible, to be fair. Like I said, it kind of looks like Killer Croc or maybe the lizard. And this is with the acting. Now this is where from the sort of Amazing Spider-Man 1 movie, but overall it's kind of just a fairly generic lizard man. But it kind of, to me, it looks like it almost changed size. It has like a huge tail that maybe looks like it's belonging to an alligator, but has these sort of quite spindly legs. And just sometimes it looks like it may sort of almost sort of change size to some degree. And it kind of, the other thing about it, the actual sound it makes, literally just sounds like a guy going, "Argh!" It's quite funny. Maybe I'm kind of just viewing it as a kind of outsider because the acting to me seemed pretty horrible. But I don't know if this is kind of just the way this kind of film was meant to be. It's difficult to tell. Now this film is spoken mostly in Hindi, but there are probably about sort of 30% of it is spoken in English as well. Now I don't speak Hindi, so I don't really know what the dialogue was some of the time. I had to kind of piece together from the little bits of English and kind of just the sort of surrounding scenes what actually was going on. But it seemed quite sort of cheesy and quite sort of almost sort of comedic like kind of just a very sort of almost spoofy sort of line delivery from sort of most characters, and it just seemed like the kind of sort of cheesy B-movie 80s horror films that you used to get back then, not like you would get today, certainly not like a theatrical release anyway. So it just kind of come across as this very sort of like film that you would maybe expect to sort of see coming out sort of years past. The plot was kind of very sort of basic, the acting was kind of cheesy and kind of campy, old style, but it makes sense, B-movie acting, and the effects weren't very good. So overall, this is why I say it kind of, you know, just comes across as kind of like an old style movie. Was it anything good about it? Well, let's have a couple of things. I suppose it's quite a fun film. I guess maybe by making it a bit more campy, it does have a kind of sense of fun. If you are a kind of fan of the kind of the Bollywood movies, there is a bit of singing and dancing in it, so there is that as well. And the cast is very attractive, like you probably expect in these Bollywood films. Very sort of, you know, pretty girls and hunky guys and everything. So obviously, if you're a fan of that sort of thing, there's plenty to look at in regards to sort of eye candy. But overall, as an overall movie, I have to find it quite disappointing and quite just not very interesting to sit through because you've just seen it so many times. There's nothing really new here to kind of catch your eye. To be honest, it is so just sort of formulaic, but maybe just coming from a sort of different country. Like I said, there's maybe kind of what is expected of that kind of type of cinema here. But for me, personally, I just found it too derivative, and basically I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.
you.